A little over 3 years ago, I first started streaming. Back then, I never really had any goals or any ambitions with it. The only reason I was streaming in the first place was because one of my friends would always spectate my games, and he'd always want to watch them without delay. So he got me into streaming because he would always be like, "Hey man, can you stream so that I don't have to watch with delay?" So for him, I actually started. Back then I never really had a good setup. I never really had any kind of a professional mic. The only thing I would do is I would stream on my laptop, which would get at most 40 frames. And in order to read my Twitch chat, I would actually have my phone on my desk with my Twitch open so I could read it in real time, so I never had to alt tab during the game. After about a month of streaming, that's when I started to realize I actually really enjoyed it, and I invested in getting a good setup, which is the one I still use to this day. So what ended up happening was I would always stream. I would stream for maybe over time I grew to a point where I was getting from 3 viewers who were just in real life friends, and I got to a point where I'd get 50 to 70 viewers. And it was around that time that one of my good friends, Karismai, actually introduced me to Professor Kali. And Karismai would always tell me that I should get started on YouTube, that I needed to start working on my marketing, and that just streaming on Twitch wasn't enough in and of itself to actually blow up and make it a stable career. So I started working under the management of Professor Kali, and all I would have to do is stream. He would sit there, he would take the part of my VOD which would make for a good video, he would hire the editors, he would hire the thumbnail guys, he would take care of literally everything. So I was just there streaming, and every day I would still have a video that I would upload to my YouTube channel. Since I was pretty unknown at the time, getting known for my personality wasn't something that I ever thought would work, so I would just always focus on purely informative content. I would make guides, I would do in-depth hacker matchups, I would talk about the champion, how to climb with the champion, and I would just be the informative hackroom guy. I worked with Professor Clive for about a year, and during that year we did a bunch of collabs, we did a bunch of little segments where he'd feature me to get my name more out there. He would shout me out as well to kind of bring more traction to my name. After about a year though, the contract ended up terminating because he was being falsely accused of taking advantage of smaller creators, which wasn't at all the case. So in order to kind of not have to deal with any backlash anymore, he just terminated all of his existing contracts with his smaller creators, and I was one of them. So I remember after my contract got terminated, I felt kind of lost because I didn't have this guy pushing me anymore, who was one of the monoliths of the league scene, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to make it because now I kind of was on my own, right? I had a YouTube channel that I didn't even know how to edit. I didn't know how to hire editors. I didn't know anything about it. So I was just kind of at a loss of what I wanted to do. So what ended up happening with that YouTube channel is I sat there, and it was about 10,000 subscribers at the time, and I decided to completely change everything about it. So instead of uploading informative hackroom content, I tried my hand at doing documentary style videos. So that's what the whole series of what is, I'm sure many of you have heard L9 came from. Also one about the story of Tarzan and a few other prolific league players and groups. So around that time is when I actually started getting in contact with my current editor, Enigma. And he was always sitting there and being he didn't want to get paid. He didn't want any kind of I guess reimbursement. He just wanted to edit for me because he thought that I had I guess a promising future. And he was always saying that he kind of wanted to get into editing, but he was relatively new. So there was no one to really edit for. So I said, you know what, I'll onboard you and we can try and see how things work. So he helped me edit all of those videos. We would sit in calls for hours every day talking about exactly what should happen, getting screenshots, getting all these things, right? And we released, I think, 4 videos over the course of that time. And it just got to a point where, although the videos were doing pretty well, and if I kept doing them, they would have actually done well, I just got to a point where I realized that I didn't really enjoy it, right? I'd have to work on scripts for 10 to 12 hours. I'd have to record audio things of me talking, and it just wasn't really my style. So it was around that time, after recording those videos, that I actually created a new channel. This channel, the Doaenel channel. And Enigma told me that he would be down to edit for me again. So I said, you know what? let's just do like typical league style content. We're both pretty much starting from nothing, right? Like at the time I had 0 subscribers, and he had like very little experience as well with editing, since the only editing he had really done was for me. So we were both at a point where we started from nothing. And I remember that one of the biggest things about me, and one of the main reasons that I kind of wanted to start a new channel, was because I said that in my old channel, I got known for, I guess, having a this like persona of being the like informative guy, right? And I never liked the fact that my YouTube audience at that time didn't know me for me. It's like they were supporting me because they thought I was this informative Heckram guy, and then they'd come to my streams and they'd hear me talking about all this crazy shit, and they'd be like, "Who even is this person?" You know. So that's why I wanted to start a new YouTube channel, because I said that I wanted to have a YouTube channel where I'm me, you know, where I'm just myself. I don't have to put on this like act. I don't have to do anything crazy. And I'll just act the way I do normally. And if people gravitate towards that, then, it'll work, right? But I never expected it to really be anything. Like, I always thought that this YouTube channel would always be a thing where we would upload, let's say, highlights, and then maybe the people who already watch my streams would like catch up if they were like missing the streams on the YouTube videos. But I never really thought that I would ever be some kind of like YouTube guy, you know? I never really thought that I would be a YouTuber. I always viewed myself as like a streamer. So that's one of the reasons why, ever since I guess like the Europe trip, the support for YouTube has actually just been insane. We're at a point now where videos are getting even like hundreds of thousands of views. You guys are showing a lot of love in the comment section. The likes are going crazy, and I don't know, it's just like for the first time in my life, I'm actually starting to feel like, I guess, a YouTuber and not just a streamer. That's one of the beauties of it, right? Is that I love the fact that now I'm able to kind of like branch out to other platforms and not just stay limited to one, and be able to kind of like share my content with everyone who could enjoy it, right? So that's why I just wanted to thank you guys for everything. Because I never really thought that I would ever be anything more than just like a small Twitch streamer who has like like a small community of people who like enjoy his stuff. And I definitely never thought that I'd ever be anything even somewhat mainstream, Like, it's just really crazy to think. So for everyone who's shown support over the last few months, for everyone who continues to watch the videos daily, for everyone who comments all the things that they do, for everyone who subscribes, everyone who shares the videos with their friends, I just want to sincerely thank you guys all for everything. We will have some new content as well soon. Some like new innovative stuff, not just like league related. Maybe some IRL things. I know that there's going to be a Valentine's dating stream as well, and then we're also going to be going to like Europe and Korea, so we can expect a lot more content, especially like IRL and things like that coming in the near future. But I just want to like thank you guys all for everything, and I'm glad that you guys can be a part of this journey. So thank you, and thank you again for 100K.